Love. Some would say it took a backseat when the pandemic forced us apart. As a family-run and proudly Canadian-owned company, Charm Diamond Centers saw the need to bring us together with tales of love and created the Canadian Love Map podcast. Since then, we've shared hundreds of real, uplifting stories that prove love conquers all. So thank you for listening. We couldn't do it without you. And remember, love starts here. Hey everybody, I'm Nancy Regan and this is the Canadian Love Map, and this is a slightly different episode today because we're wrapping season 1, and what a season it has been. We have been absolutely honored to share with you love stories of all kinds from across Canada. We've shared stories of the power of connection with our partners, family, friends, and even communities. We've also heard about how love can get us through the worst of times. Hello, 2020. And it also helps us rebuild our lives. These stories prove that when we have love in our lives, we can really become the best versions of ourselves. And from everyday moments to once-in-a-lifetime bold decisions, I feel like we covered it all in season 1. It has exceeded my expectations, and I hope that you've really been enjoying the ride. I'm going to do something a little different today. We're just going to be with you for a few minutes, but I've invited our junior producer, Sarah MacLellan, to come on and ask anything she wants. Actually, she was assigned this job by the senior producer. Isn't that right, Sarah?
Yeah, I won't lie.
I think you were pretty happy to volunteer, though.
Honored to be here with you.
Yeah. Thank you for all the awesome work you've done. I just love the stories that we've shared, like legitimately love them. I have been so thrilled to be part of this. It's been a dark year for a lot of people, and I feel like we've just been able to shine a little light. And in Canada, we have really learned that if we all shine a little light, it gets brighter.
That's right. And it's been an emotional roller coaster, I think, for the whole team working on this podcast. It's been, ups and downs and, really happy, feel-good stories, but then ones that are a lot more emotional, So, what I want to know from you is how have you found the whole season, being part of this entire season 1?
Well, I mean, I have to say that the moment I was asked to host this podcast, I said, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely want to do this. This is fantastic. And I knew that it was something we needed right now. From the time the lockdown started in the spring, I had this feeling like we are all called to service right now in some way to help others. And it can be the smallest thing. It can be as we head into a long COVID winter, it can be getting out and shoveling a neighbor's driveway. But for me, being part of this uplifting podcast and meeting even just through voice, some of the people that we've had on, all of the people we've had on through this season, has just been such a bright spot in my year.
Truly. And the variety of stories we've had is just absolutely wonderful. Because I think when you first hear of a podcast about love, we assume it's romantic love. Mm-hmm. And we've definitely had stories of romantic love on here, but we've had so many other awesome themes, community and friendship. And was there any story or any episode that resonated with you in particular, that really touched you personally?
That's like asking me which is my favorite of my children.
It's impossible to pick, right?
I loved talking to Bet and Maynard, who I've watched, as a fan for years. And I actually did a movie appearance. Bet and I did a scene together decades ago now. And I've just always, really admired the way they show up in the world. I loved our story of the cross-border creative wedding
my gosh.
that Lindsay and Alex had. I loved the story of Devin and Laura.
Oh my God, yeah.
Laura giving up 60% of her liver for Devin. There was so much, even our very first one, going back to Ted and Lillian, and the idea that love doesn't die.
It doesn't.
Lillian
That's right.
has left this life, but Ted's love is just so present and real, and it was a great launching pad, because I sort of went, wow, I think this is going to be something.
That's right.
And it's going to make people feel great. And that's what I want to do. You think about the people who have given so much back, like Jay to his community, and Alicia, who's constantly adding light to the world, and we were able to surprise her.
That's right. What a way to end the season with that episode. I think it kind of ruined all of us emotionally. All of us in Charm were just crying, not a dry eye in the studio there. It was spectacular.
And I do want to say this, and it's not a commercial plug at all, but we put this podcast idea together, and when we approached Charm Diamonds about being a sponsor, they just saw it and they climbed on board fully and completely, and they gave us the license to do exactly what you said, Sarah. Create stories about all kinds of love. This is not just stories of engagements,
right.
but so they've been sort of the wind beneath our wings by sponsoring the podcast, and that means a lot. And so I want to say thank you to them. They're a family-owned Canadian company, and I'm really proud to have them as our sponsor.
Just absolutely wonderful. Wonderful team of people, too.
Have you had fun?
I have had a blast. And what I love most, I think, is that there's these, really fun episodes sprinkled in with these heavier ones. We hear stories of friendship, Jamie and Sam, the online dating, that's going to resonate with so many people, especially in this day and age with modern dating and all of that. I'm so proud of the variety of episodes that we've done together.
Yes, and
so great.
When you say variety, I remember you telling me before we recorded the episode, telling me about our episode about the Gui Ping girls.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is a really good sign. Everybody's thinking outside the box. We're going to get creative. Just wait. Because, this is the end of season 1, but we are just getting started, folks.
Right.
We're revving up our engine. And this is actually where you come in, because we want your ideas. We know that you out there across the, the landscape of Canada, you've got love stories you are aware of in your own life, and we want to hear them. So share them with us, and Sarah will tell you how to do that.
Yeah, so you can reach out to Canadian Love Map on social media. You can message us on Instagram or Facebook and let us know, maybe just touch base. But we do also have a guest application form. So we have a link that we will share probably in the description of this podcast. But reach out any way you can to us. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear your story.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all your work, Sarah.
Thank you, Nancy. This has been wonderful.
We have a great team, and it's really a great example of how when all members of a team are really full on and contributing, something happens. Magic happens.
I think we did make some magic.
Yep, right on, sister. All
it.
right, well, thanks so much. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll be back in mid-January. Make sure you've followed the podcast and you'll be notified. Stay tuned. This podcast is hosted by me, Nancy Regan, produced by Podstarter. Thanks, John and Reese, and made possible by Charm Diamond Centers. Happy holidays, everybody.